Okay, so today we start up by revising what we did in the last class. That is, we did the introduction to SQL and then we quickly jump over to the portion we had covered till. Okay, so basically, I said that MySQL is a database software, database management software, which helps you work, create, manage your databases, your tables, your indexes, everything. So it gives you the complete environment, the complete package to take care of your things. SQL is nothing but a support. It's a language support which uses simple English, and it is like a universally accepted data access language. So your entire MySQL is installed. Now to talk with your databases, to talk with the MySQL environment, I will use SQL for that matter. We also call it SQL. The full form goes as structured query language. Okay, so it's universally acceptable data access language being used with MySQL, with Oracle, with Excel, Access, MS Access. So everywhere it is being used. I think I did not share my screen. I'm so sorry. Yeah, fine. So that is how we are working. We have discussed about the starting of the SQL thing. Then we said, okay, SQL is being a query language, being a language with the help of which I'm interacting. So it is basically having commands, nothing else. So we need to know for what work we need to use with command, number one. And number two, what is the format of writing that command? These are the two things we need to know. It's just simple single line commands which we use. So there we classify the commands into four categories, currently focusing upon two, the first two. DDL, data definition language, then comes data manipulation language, then comes transaction control language, and then comes your data control language. Okay, we discussed this part too. I'll just quickly brief up. For the DDL, we said they're mainly focusing on the creation, alteration, and drop of database and tables. The five commands: create database, create the table, alter the table structure. Mind it does not talk about alteration of the records, of the values. It just talks about alteration of the database, of the table schema, of the structure of the table. That is which we talk about the fields and the specifications. That is what it is. Then dropping or deleting completely the table and the database. One thing I said last class also, the dropping from MySQL, that is from a use of SQL commands, when you're deleting a table or a database, it's a permanent deletion. It doesn't go to something called as recycle bin. So I cannot recover it back. Okay. Now when I talk of manipulating the data in the tables, so I go for these basic three commands: insertion, inserting new data, updating existing data, somebody's cell phone number changed, some price of the item changed, or I want to delete certain set of records, single records, whatever, they come under DML. Then I had two categories of transaction control and data control, which currently I'm not re-referring again. It will take a lot of time. And I also referred that there's something called as query retrieval language, which is basically my select command. That's a separate category altogether. Majority books follow that pattern only. Uh, the query retrieval language, QRL. Otherwise, the major classification is this. Next, we discussed about the environment now. That how do I start and how do I start working with the SQL commands. Okay. So the first thing I am again going to repeat is, once the installation is done, I go to my SQL command line client, which I open. It asks for the password which you set while you are installing your MySQL. The username is not required. By default, it is root. If you specify the username there, then it will ask for the username also. Otherwise, it's just the password. Once it is done, you are put onto a place which has a MySQL prompt. This is called a prompt. This is where I'm going to work with my commands. Now, yesterday or maybe whatever, last class, we did a few commands. Let me just kind of revise them. So first thing is like I want to see what all list of databases did I make or do I have currently on my machine, because I don't remember what database I created last. So I want to see the list of available databases at this point before I start. And remember, database as what? As a folder. It has multiple tables into it. So it's just like a folder. So I need to remember the name of the folder to go and open that folder. So in order to see what all folders I have, my option is show databases. Mind it is in plural only. If you write database, it gives an error. Next point we need to remember, every command in SQL is terminated by a semicolon. So until unless you give that, it will not work. So show databases semicolon and I pressed enter. This is a list of databases which I see. If you remember, I told this information underscore schema, MySQL, performance underscore schema, and sys. These are the default ones, which is there even if you don't create any. But the Sushmita is the folder which I made, or the database which I made in the last class. So now I know which one I have to start work with. Okay. Now, how do I start my work? I need to be present inside a database in order to start my work. That is that I need to open a particular database, reach there, and then start my work. And to open a particular database, it is use and the database name. The database name is Sushmita, which I made last time. Enter. So now it has reached Sushmita database. It is open for you to work. You can create more tables in that. You can store data into it, and then accordingly access. Okay. So this is how I create a database, which I created earlier. I open that database, and I'm ready to work with. Fine. Now talking about what other thing we did, what I can think of is that I started discussing about the creation of table. And I said that when you have to create a table, when you want to create a tabular structure and store data onto it, then you need to you need to understand first that what all kinds of data is supported by SQL and which all format or which all types of data we specify while creating the data. This is something we started discussing, and I think we did that also. That for string type information, I can either use char or varchar. Currently, we don't know the difference. For numeric data, you have either int or big int for integer values, and you have decimal or float for uh, numbers with decimal point. Okay, I'm not going to do the explanation again. We'll do example and you'll understand the way we have to use it. One more, we have date type to store date of information, and the format we have to very particularly remember. It's YYYY dash DD dash MM. This is what is uh, available. The format is available for your SQL. Okay. Now we start by creating a table first. A simple table creation command. In this syntax, I've not mentioned something which is also part of table creation. That's called the constraints, which I can put for every column. What are constraints and how do we put it? That we currently do not discuss at all in this term. We do that in the next term. So I'm not currently referring to the syntax with the constraint. It will definitely confuse you. Okay. So basically, we start by creating a table structure or a schema. Correct? Now, let me remind you of an example which I said that Kartika ma'am has given Urja the responsibility to collect money for the picnic. Okay. Now, in that data, I need to preserve the roll number of the person who's paying the money, the name of the person, the date he's paying the amount on, and the amount he's paying. Okay. These four things I'm trying to store in that table. So first, Urja will open a notebook or take out a sheet of paper, take a scale and a pencil, give the headings and make the structure. That's what we are trying to do first. That's the structure of the table. Okay. So the format is simple. It starts by saying create table picnic. That's my first table name. Now, table name has those same rules which you have studied in a Python also, and it's generally applicable for all your languages. That it should not be a keyword, it should not have a space, it should not start with a number. Basic rules which I follow for creating my databases, that name. Then I talk about in a language, I talk of variables. Same rule will follow for the column names also. There should not be any space in between, no special characters other than underscore is acceptable. The rules are absolutely same. So you don't have to really remember something extra. Okay, so create table picnic, half circle open, and I can continue writing the commands in the same line, no problem. But the issue is that when it gives me an error, it gives me an error with a line number. Okay, now if you have written the whole command in one line, what happens is it shows you line number one and this is the error. And if you're not able to identify the error, then you kind of start searching the whole line, right? So that is why we try to break up our command that it looks okay, systematic, and also it is helping us to understand the error better, if any, later, because it's going to show me the line numbers. Like in the example, in the syntax example, you see I've got first line as my create table, table name, half circle I've given the next line, and the every single column specification is one line. Closure of that opening bracket with the semicolon is my last line. So if there's an error in the third line, I know that okay, this line has an issue, rest are correct, right? So that is why I prefer to divide and write. So I just go enter, and I've told you until unless you press a semicolon, the command is not finished. So it'll give you this kind of an arrow and expect more input from you. Okay. So create table picnic. My first column name which I want or Uja wants to enter is basically the roll number of the person. So RNO. Same rules, no space, only underscore accepted, no keywords, no special characters allowed other than underscore. Should not start with a number. Same rules for the field name also. So I just kept it roll number, no underscore, no numbers as such. Now I have to tell the computer what kind of data will your roll number, field or attribute or column name accept. The roll numbers are generally going to be integer, so I just take int. So this comes in relation to this particular part, data type. And followed by in half circle brackets, I have to mention the width. Now, how is the width useful? You can understand that Pooja will make lines to divide the entries of the columns, right? Now, obviously, for roll number, she'll not keep a very big space. Why? Roll numbers are going to be 1 to 40, 1 to 50, 1 to 60 at the maximum. So, 2 digit space maximum for my class. Correct? So, at the max, I take another extra space, 3 digit, but 2 would have been more than enough. So, 2 character space I am providing in the memory to write my data for roll number, every roll number. Okay, comma. Next one. I go to the next line. I could have written the same line also. Next line. Next name I give is, next field name I give is name of the student. So let me kind of vary it a little. I say S underscore name, student name, space. Now student name is can be, I mean, it cannot have numbers, of course. It is going to be characters only, string only. So I go for either char or varchar. Preferably, I work with char currently because I don't understand what's the purpose of varchar. So I go for char. Maximum name can be 30 characters at the max. Every character is one alphabet. So name and surname is max to max 30 possible. Okay, comma. Next. Next I said it should be amount paid. So AMT. It's not going to be decimal related, but still I take just to explore this option. So I'm saying decimal. And if somebody remembers, I said that decimal takes two arguments, two values, two inputs, wherein the first part tells me how much is the total length of the data, including the decimal part and the integer part. Fine. So supposingly I'm saying at the maximum it can be 7 and decimal part can be 2. So what is left with the integer part, which is obvious, 7 minus 2 here, 5. So you cannot enter a number which is more than a 5-digit number. You cannot enter a decimal part which is more than 2-digit portion. Okay, that's the meaning of this. Comma next, I said it should be roll number, name, amount, and date. So date of submitting the amount. So let me say DOS. DOS. Date of submitting the amount, space, date type. Now one particular point to be remembered here, that for date type we need not mention the width because the format of the date is fixed and the specification in the memory also is fixed. 8 bytes will be used for that, 4 for year, 2 for month, and 2 for day. Okay, so that is why as per the format which SQL accepts, it is fixed, so I need not mention, and you will not mention, that is actually an error, not accepted. Okay, so it goes just the date type, and I think I just need 4 fields as of now, so I've done that. This opening, if you can see, I'm taking the cursor to the opening bracket after picnic. This opening brackets now needs a closure. If you don't do that, it will land up into an error. And termination thing, semicolon, and I say enter. It says query okay. So I know that my table has been created. Now, how do I know, or how do I check out that my table has been created? Here I've taken another example in the PPT that I'm trying to do it with a student table. I've taken roll number as integer, and see, I've not given the size for int 2. With int I can go for the default size, which is quite a huge amount. 9 digits are accepted, so you might opt for not giving the size if you're not sure. Name cat 30, free decimal 7 comma 2. I think 7 comma 2 has become my favorite. Address varchar 50. As of now I've taken a varchar example too. See, comma I forgot to give here, so I came down and gave it here. No problem, it is not going to give any error to me. And age, now with integer I'm specifying the width. So int is also acceptable, I said integer is also acceptable, big int is also acceptable, but big int definitely takes more memory. So big int will only be used when I talk about maybe a telephone number or something, 10-digit mobile number when I have to store, or with the code of the city I have to store. So it becomes a problematic thing if I don't specify big int. Doesn't take more than 9 digits in integer. Fine. So that is what. Now this is, see, what becomes confusing is this is the closing bracket for the integer data type. And now I have to give a closing bracket for my this opening. Okay. So this closure and then semicolon. Now, I just wanted to specify that with this particular thing, what I have actually created is something like this on the copy, which Urja is supposed to make. Now, Urja will make these lines go longer so that she can enter the data later. But in the memory, this is what is being created for the system. The structure. This is called the schema. This is called the table structure. Okay. So, this is ready with me. Now, next part. After creation, I want to see that what exactly has he created. I am not able to see it otherwise. He said query okay. But what have I created? Okay. So anytime which you have currently created tables you want to see, or they are previously created tables whose structure you want to see, in that case we use this command. It's called describe table name, or it can also be used with a short form DESC. DESC table name. Okay, both the commands are acceptable. So you can see here, if I'm applying that to my describe student, it gives me a full tabular structure of my fields what I have created, and it shows me some extra information also which I did not ask him to put, or neither I gave it to him while I'm creating. So this is something maybe they are putting up and using in those default tables which are available. Okay, so my student structure has got roll number, field name, type, whether it's accepting null value or not, So it says yes, that comes by default. No key is currently associated. I've not made any primary key, any foreign key here, so it's blank. Default value, by default it can take null as my value. Any extra information, currently nothing is there. So this is how the structure is shown to me. This is how the structure is shown to me. Now let's try and check it out here practically. Now I want to see the structure of my table student. So it goes as DESC. I'm used to using DESC more than describe, but do remember, once it has been asked in the board exam and one of my child, couldn't attempt it, gave a wrong answer because we were so used to using DESC. Describe is also correct. So please remember that. So DESC, picnic, semicolon, enter. So now it tells me the structure of the picnic table in the same format as it is showing me for the student table in the PPT which I have created, and I took the screenshots and I put it here. Fine. So I know my table is ready. Now supposingly I make some mistakes. I say DESC and I go for make a wrong spelling by mistake. So it will simply say table Sushmita dot picnic does not exist. So how is it actually referring to my content? It is referring to the database name followed by table name separated by a dot. Table name is connected to every database, right? Like when you are making folders in Windows and the folder contents you are making. So every content is part of that folder. If you have to go to a particular content, you have to reach that folder and then only you can see it. Otherwise you cannot, right? So that is how in the database environment also, your every table is associated with a database. You cannot independently create a table without storing it inside the database, right? So it refers to a database name dot table name like this, but I don't know. I don't think I've never used it actually. That any place I have been required to use it in this format. I'm going to go to my database and use my tables directly. I generally don't need to refer it like this, but the machine refers to my tables and associate it to my database properly. Okay. So any mistake you make, this is how the error comes. Right. Now next, my table is ready. So Uja has made the structure, copy pen ke saath she's ready. Now I want to insert my data. So I want the values corresponding to roll number, name, amount, and date of submission. This particular command we learn in 3 categories. Let's go by the normal format first. Insert into name of the table. So PICNIC. Values I'm trying to enter. So values as a keyword comes here. Insert into table name values. Half circle open. Now you have to maintain a sequence of the fields you have mentioned here. In that sequence, you'll be giving the values. I've got int, character, decimal, date. So accordingly, it will check. If you put the date first, a date value first, followed by an integer value, followed by a decimal, any sequence, no. Uja, while doing it in the copy, she can say, okay, I first write the name, then I write the roll number, then I go and write the amount, or then I go and write the date, and then I write the amount. Random, she can do, no problem. But for the machine, it has to be in the sequence of the fields you have created. If you kind of omit that sequence, it goes wrong. Okay. So here I start putting, I said roll number 12 has given me the money first. So comma. Now here we have to remember, if it is a date value, it comes in quotes. If it is a character or a varchar value, it comes in quotes. If it is a numeric value, it does not come in quotes. As usual, the way you make variable contents in the Python programs also. Quotes will come if it is date or character or string values. That is char or varchar values. Okay. So S name, so that's going to be a character value. So it's quotes for me. Again, it accepts double quote or single quote both. So I go by saying supposedly Uja is the first one to submit herself. So let me have Uja here, comma. Amount she is submitting maybe 500. Numeric, so no quotes, comma. And date of submission. My date of submission has to be in quotes. Let it be today's date 2020 or maybe 2 days back. First is here, then comes your month, and then comes your day. So let it be maybe 13th August you paid. Half circle of this values bracket that I close at the end. Semicolon for the command termination, enter. Query OK, one row affected. So one row has been inserted. Okay, now I want to insert more values into it. Now I really can't show you that in order to access the previous commands you have entered in the MySQL environment in one session. By one session I mean that if I exit and I come back, it's a fresh session for me. That is, the RAM is refreshed. So if I do so with the up arrow key and the down arrow key, I can pick up the previously entered commands. So if I just have to kind of insert a new record, I can pick up this command again and go and change these values. So it's going to be simpler work for me rather than typing INSERT space into typing the whole thing again. I can pick up that command. So I am using my upper arrow key here. See, the latest command. Another upper arrow, previous command. Another upper arrow, the previous to that. Previous to that, line by line. In the create table, this was my last line, DOS date. So when you make errors, this is how you again pick up the command line by line, make the corrections and do it. I'll show that also. That is also very important. Because once you come down in a particular line while entering in the SQL environment, you can't go up because it doesn't move up. So editing becomes a problem. This way, every line can be picked up with the up arrow key and entered to be taken care of as the command. Okay. So now I'm pressing down arrow key and I go back to my last command which I used. Now here I try to change. Let me change 13. Sorry, so I go with my left arrow keys here now and I keep on deleting and entering. Let it be roll number 10. Varun 500 and he paid on 14th. So it becomes simple because very few changes. So I just could enter, query. Okay, now any mistake I make, let me try to enter something with a mistake. Supposingly I forget to give my quotes for my date and maybe the closing bracket also. Now this is the kind of error it will show you. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL server at line number 1. Right, so because it's only one single line, so I have to check my command properly. How do I remove the error and re-implement it quickly? I do it like this. I go to my up arrow key, so I pick it up and I try to insert my problem areas and make the corrections. Go to the end and press enter. So that is accepted. Now it has actually inserted 2 records of Varun. By mistake, I've done that. Now I will have to delete it maybe. So we learn how to delete also already inserted records. But now I want to see in a proper tabular manner that how exactly have I inserted my data, how is it looking. Okay, now to extract data from a table, it's the select command. Now select command is currently something which in this term I'm not putting up for your exam. So, but in order to work, even I have to learn when I'm inserting records and I want to see how have I inserted, my select is required. So how do I use a select command? I'll just show it to you for the time being. Select, and I use a star symbol here to refer to all my columns. Otherwise, I can specify the specific column names which I want to see. And then from name of the table. So as of now, I just understand this and I use it. Picnic, semicolon, enter. So this is how my data looks like. Roll number, S name, amount, DOS are my column names, are my fields, belongs to my structure. And I've added 3 records, the last 2 being same, and roll number, the name of the person, amount. So these individual things are my records. 3 records, 4 columns. So can you tell me that what is the degree of this table as of now? Anyone remembers? What is the degree of this table as of now? What was degree? Degree is actually the number of
Columns.
columns, correct. So it's the number of columns. So that is my pillars. 1 2 3 4 vertical cutouts. 1 2 3 4, so 4 columns. So degree is 4 columns, and my records are 3. So my cardinality is 3. You will not consider this heading when you are counting the records. When you are counting for the cardinality, you are counting the rows, tuples, records. You will not count this heading. This is part of the structure, not part of your data. So this is the data. This is the record set we talk of, and these are 3 in number. Hence, the degree, your cardinality is actually 3. Am I clear in terms of insertion? And the first example, we've done the A part. Okay. Now we do the last two. That is, I do not have some information. Supposingly, though whatever table I have created, these 4 information will definitely be there. Or supposingly, okay, let me take a situation where I'm saying that Anhad says that, okay, I will give you the amount. I am going to the picnic, so I'll give you the amount. But he has not yet submitted the amount. So you will not put this date entry as of now, right? So how will I insert this data? I will put the value as null for Anand. So let me put null, null in capital, null in small, both accepted, but null should not be in quotes because null is not a character value. Null is a special value for it. Okay, I'll make the rest of the changes. Suppose it is 17 roll number, and Anand is saying that he wants to go for the picnic, but he doesn't have the money today. So date of submission is null for him. Rest of the information I have put. Enter, query, okay. I want to check whether it was inserted properly or not. So I go with my arrow keys back to my previous command, enter. This is how null shows up, right? We'll learn later how to update these null values, how to change values in the table. We'll learn all that. As of now, creation and inserting data. Let's go step by step. This needs to be done properly, right? So inserting null values is simple. Wherever you want to put null, you can actually put null for everything. But your null should be without any quotes. For machine, it's a record. Like I can actually do a dumb data like everything is null for me. But I'm inserting a record. Doesn't make sense though. So 4 entries, null, 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 null. It will not prompt you that why are you entering null everywhere. And if you're entering, then why are you entering that record? It doesn't matter to him. Okay? So I can do even that. But that really doesn't make sense. Now, supposingly, I am talking about the third situation, basically the B situation here. I took the C1 first. That I want to enter specific, values for specific columns. Okay. One is that for all other columns you put null. Now here it was only one column for which I had to put null, like for Anhad's entry. So it was easy for me. But if there are suppose 15 columns and you just have information for 3 columns and rest are all null as of now. Like for the employee table, you just know that this is the employee code of the person and this is the name of the person and maybe his address. Rest, his department, his designation, his salary, his PF details, his Aadhaar number, nothing you have. So everything is null for me, right? So writing null so many number of times out of 15, only 3 entries you have. So maybe 12 times you're writing null. Doesn't make sense. So what option does it give it to me? It gives me selective entry option. Same command, but with a difference. So insert into, mind it, it's into, it's not in. Insert into table name values. It's not value, it is values. They ask you errors, show you this command, and then tell you, tell me the error. And you miss out these small things. Insert into, and it's a board exam paper or question only. Insert into, in place of into, they wrote in, and instead of values in 1 year, they wrote value. Okay, so be very careful about it. Insert into picnic. Now, after the table name, you have to give him the list of columns for which you want to make the entry. Okay. I want to make the entry for only name. I don't want to, sorry, it's S underscore name. So I only want to make the entry for name. Rest I don't want to enter. Let me do it for at least two columns. So it's RNO and name. So I'm trying to enter the value for these two columns for my current record. For the new record you insert, I'm just giving you values for these two. I don't know the amount and I don't know the DOS. But I don't want to explicitly put the nulls, NULL, two times. So I just tell him, please insert into these two columns and leave the rest. Leave the rest means he actually takes it up as blank or null values only. Not zero values, mind it. They have blank values for him, null values for him, no value for him. Okay, so insert into table name in half circle brackets, the selective name of columns, then the values for these selective columns, which I have mentioned. So I'm saying roll number 23, comma, and let it be Sushmita. Sushmita in quotes, roll number without quotes, and half circle closed. Semicolon, enter. Let's see how it has inserted the data. See, automatically the rest of the two values are null. Right? Same thing how I could have done by not mentioning that thing. I would have had to tell him like this. Like one more person, let me enter. 23 is done. Let me do it for 24. And let the name be suppose English Sumit. Okay. So now I'm entering 24 Sumit, but other two null. Same thing. 23 Sushmita, other two null. But I'll have to write null explicitly when I'm doing it in this method, because he expects values corresponding to all the fields when you don't mention the field names the way I have done it here. If I only want to enter for selective fields, the first method, this one, is preferable as compared to this, because here it's only four columns, so I can easily enter for two nulls, no problem. But if it is a big table with 15, 20, 30 entries for which you just have maybe five values and rest is all null as of now, so in that case this will not be preferred, because then you keep on writing null, comma null, comma null, comma null, comma null, comma null. Doesn't make sense. So then this case becomes handy. Fine. So you have to understand and think what do you want to do, and then accordingly you will be entering the record. So that is how my table looks like as of now. We have inserted records today. We have learned how to insert selectively. We have learned how to insert all blank values. We've learned how to insert null values. Mind it, null is no value. It is not zero. Need not be done with quotes. Shouldn't be with quotes. The moment you put it quotes, it becomes a string value. Does not remain a null value anymore. Then we discussed about how do I see the structure of the table. That is with the DESC command or describe command. We also learned how to create a table, and for creating the table, what all we need to specify: the field name, the data type, in the brackets, the width. The width is not compulsory when you are specifying for int. It will take the default one. But if you want to specify, you can. Then your memory allocation becomes specific. So name of the child, data type, half circle brackets, width. Every field specification has to be separated by a comma, and at the end it has to be the closing circle, half circle bracket, as you have opened one here. One more point to remember: for dates we do not give the width at all. Okay, so I'll try to send the screenshot of this whole thing, put it in Word, and then send you a file so that you can refer. And I'll also send the document for installation today for sure, so that you can try. We can do one more thing also. If one person wants to install it in the class, we can do that. Though it takes a little more time, but we can share somebody's screen and do it if you are facing problem. But I'll try to make the document such that you do not face any issues with it. Okay, please install that. Somebody who's doing it on mobile, I'll send you the detail of the app also, wherein you can use it with the existing tables they have. You can apply all the commands which you learn. Okay, but practicing is important, and all these commands, these examples of today need to be written in the notebook, please. Every command, no need to write the error ones, but every command whatever you have practiced, please note it down in the notebook. It'll take little more time, not a problem. With the output screens also, no need to make these dash 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 dash, that's not bad. But just that you should be aware of how things are going to be shown, because output questions also come in SQL along with the way they come in Python. So the output is very specific in SQL. So make it initially for few examples at least, so that later you don't have issues. Okay, I'm minimizing it. I'll just kind of later screen take it and send it to you. Stop my recording, and